Chris Mathis, who's not friends with Rachaad White over the years.
Would you call him enemies with Rashad White?
I would say Rachaad White does not like Chris Mathis.
Whoa, I wouldn't go that far.
First person to not like Chris Mathis would be Rachaad White. So that's why these guys got the interview and we didn't. Chris Mathis, thank you. No, I'm kidding. But very good. These are guys in the community. They do a really good job with the Bucks. And I've met Stank a couple times. Awesome dude. He was talking with Rachaad White, and they were talking about defensive coordinator. And I thought that was very interesting considering we know who controls this defense. It's Todd Bowles. Rachaad White's been part of this team for a while. Most likely not going to be part of this team anymore. Maybe that's why we're hearing a little bit more of an open Rachaad White. Take a listen to Rachaad White.
But I do think he should let somebody else call defense and he just be a head coach. I do feel like he'd probably be better off by doing that, so he can focus on really just the head coaching and head coach job and just trust it. You know what I'm saying? He got the right defensive staff.
That is pretty damning. And it's not a.
Is it damning? Because to me, it's like Rashad. Worry about the offense, buddy.
It's interesting that you say that because the first thing I thought of was like Rashad. You more so are on the offense, but when you're a part of the team, you're a part of the team, and you hear things, you know things. You're more in it than we are. So if he says that, I take it with more weight than somebody who's not a part of the team or wasn't a part of the team and in that locker room.
That's fair.
Rachaad White to say that, first of all, one thing tells me that I don't think he'll be with the re-signing with the Bucks.
It tells me he doesn't think he'll be re-signing with the Bucks. And there's another quote from that we didn't bother playing where he talks about, I don't know who's going to want me or if they'll want me back, obviously meaning the Buccaneers. But this doesn't help him if he wants to be back.
If he is saying that, running back this year, backup running back. Well, obviously Bucky got hurt, so he had to play more. But you think he's the only one in the locker room that thinks that way about Todd Bowles?
Not at all.
No way.
Remember, we had Antoine Winfield Jr.'s dad liking things on Instagram about coaching malpractice. Now, it did also mention Josh Grizzard in that post, so we don't know for sure that Antoine Winfield Sr. Was alluding to Todd Bowles. Or
to your point about Rashad White,
Bowles,
what position did Antoine Winfield Sr. play? He was on defense.
Yeah.
Right? So why would he be commenting? What would he know about Josh Grizzard and what's going on in the offense? He'd know probably more about what's going on in the defense.
Listen, as a defensive guy, you spend your entire life watching offensive film. And I'm sure you could recognize if a guy was completely inept at play calling.
That's true. But I think that this is damning because he can't be the only one that thinks that way. So if there are guys in this locker room that think, hey, Todd Bowles should really just be focusing on head coaching and bring in somebody to help out with the defense, maybe they should do that.
Maybe. I also think players should focus on what they're doing more so than what their coaches are doing.
But obviously, if they're not, then you got to do something about it because those are the guys that are here.
Yeah.
Besides Rashad White, who will be gone.
Yeah. Listen, it's kind of like we talked about with the people who are calling or texting in, and we're talking yesterday about who should the new offensive coordinator be or who's the most important role to fill after offensive coordinator, and everyone's like, well, Todd Bowles, you got to fire Todd. Well, it's not happening. It's almost the same thing. I very much suspect it's not happening. Should it happen? I think there's a decent chance it should happen. Whether Rashad White thinks so or not, I think it could help Todd Bowles to have a defensive play caller.
If it's going to help you, why wouldn't you? If guys in the locker room are thinking, hey, this would help you and the team, why wouldn't you? It's a no-brainer.
You think Todd Bowles knows that?
He should now because Rashad White is speaking from a place, and that's why I like what we heard. Now, if Rashad White was still a part of this team or it seemed like he was coming back, I would hate it. You don't want to air that dirty laundry. But this is an honest perspective.
I'd almost respect and it's not that I disrespect the take from Rashad White, but I'd almost respect it more from a guy that I knew was coming back. Because he wants to.
I wouldn't believe. Yeah, I would. You're right. I believe that.
He wants to help fix whatever's going on, and he wants to believe. He's like, hey, here's how we need to be better. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're saying you don't believe in Todd Bowles as a head coach to say he could have some help as a play caller.
If Antoine Winfield Jr. today were to say he doesn't need any help as a defensive play caller, would you think that is more believable than Rashad White on his way out saying he could probably use some help as a defensive play caller?
It's to me, it's not about believability, right? Because I believe both of them that they believe that, right? I believe that it would probably help Todd Bowles to have a defensive play caller. If Antoine Winfield Jr. came out and said the opposite of that, it wouldn't change my belief. Would he have a lot more insight on it than I do? Absolutely. But we've seen what we've seen here for years, and it's not working out to the point where even if he just had a defensive coordinator in name, right, which I know he's had like co-DCs that didn't but if he had somebody that with a little more experience that was willing to push him on adjustments and that sort of thing and say, hey, not necessarily call the plays even, but hey, we need to adjust. We can't just say this is what we do and go out there and give up giant chunk yards over the middle of the field all game, every game, and expect it to work out.
Don't you see, though, Pat, that these Rachaad White comments, and if you're just joining us, let's play the comments again if people are just getting in the car. Rachaad White talking about the Buccaneers, Todd Bowles, and maybe getting some help at defensive coordinator, somebody to help the defense.
But I do think he should let somebody else call defense, and he just be a head coach. I do feel like he'd probably be better off by doing that, so he can focus on really just the head coaching and head coach job and just trusting. You know what I'm saying? He got the right defensive staff.
And that was on the Loose Cannons podcast. If he says that, and he's saying that on the way out, and like I mentioned earlier, there's got to be other people in the locker room that are thinking that.
Probably.
You know what that means to me? Everything we were saying down the stretch of the season. Don't know the extent of it, but Todd Bowles has lost a piece of this locker room. And when you lose the faith of your players, that's when it all starts to unravel. So if you don't make some changes, I know you fired a bunch of coaches, but you still haven't talked about bringing in a defensive coordinator. If guys on this team are losing faith, and some of the specific things they're pointing to is maybe he should focus on being a head coach and leave the defense to somebody else, give the duties up, and you don't do that, you think the guys in this locker room, the other guys that are feeling this way, like Rachaad White, you think they're going to have more faith in you as a coach or less faith? I'm going to have to say less faith.
To be honest with you, I don't know that it matters. Right now, I don't know that it matters. Come training camp, you're going to have new coaches in place. There's going to be new energy at training camp, and either it's going to work or it's not going to work. But I'll tell you this, I don't think what they believe right now matters a whole lot because you get the right coaches in place, you get the right atmosphere at training camp. We know they've got a pretty good locker room overall. If it comes out and it works, it won't matter how they feel right now. And if it comes out and doesn't work, it also won't matter how they feel right now.
Yeah, it's true. Somebody on the text line said, Aaron, if the Goons said you need another host to help you, not Pat, would you be excited about it? Brad, it's such a bad comparison. It's such a bad, what we do is entertainment. And I know that's sports entertainment in a way, but like we're winning, right? So I don't know the comparison.
It's also not the same thing because it's not taking your job away, which is what you're asking Todd Bowles to do, is give his job to someone else. Nobody's asking you to give your job to someone else.
I guess it would mean less words on the show, but if the show's good and it works and it means we're going to be number one. If you told me, hey, we added this guy, it would be funny, it would be a great addition, you'd be number one.
His name's Sam Cohen.
Yeah, Sam Cohen.